All right, folks, I've been given the 1 minute warning. 1 minute. This is the center. Is this the center? No podium. John said no. I mean, we're going to be watching 37 minutes of this. Yeah, I wonder if that's where you're supposed to stand. That's a good mark, actually. Wow. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the 2024 third quarter resident town hall. Today's topic is sustainability and EV charging. Please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance to start off our meeting. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. Following my brief welcome and introduction, we'll have Chaplain Duke come up for a blessing, and then we'll start the video. We're going to watch the video again for those of you that haven't. It's about 37 minutes, and then we'll do a question and answer session. Steve Eggles, our Vice President of Operations, is here with us today in the audience. We will also have Sean Fletcher, the Senior Vice President of Real Estate Services, and Brian Runceveld, the Vice President of Procurement and Contract Management, joining us via Teams at about 11:30. Chaplain Duke, I'd like to welcome you up now.
Thank you, Scott. Good to see everybody today. Probably no more thrilling topic than sustainability for us to gather together and talk about. So I know everybody's looking forward to that. And I have a prayer that I'd like to offer for us this morning precisely on this topic. Let us pray. Loving Creator, we come before you today with hearts full of gratitude for the beauty of this world and the resources you have provided. As we gather to discuss the critical issue of sustainability, we ask for your wisdom and guidance. Help us to be mindful stewards of the earth, recognizing that our choices today will shape the future for generations to come. Grant us, as well as acts, the wisdom to find solutions that protect and nurture the environment, that promote justice and equity, and that honor the interconnection of all life. May our decisions reflect respect for the natural world, for our neighbors, and for the communities ACT serves. Guide us in fostering cooperation and innovation as we seek to balance the needs of today with the sustainability of tomorrow. May this new initiative be fruitful, inspiring us to action and to make decisions rooted in care, compassion, and responsibility. We ask for your blessing upon this meeting and upon all who strive to make a difference in the preservation and care of our planet. Amen.
Hello, I'm Karen Christensen, President of ACTS. Thank you for joining us for this important town hall presentation. As many of you know, senior management provides 4 town hall type meetings per year. The meetings in May and November are always the same topics: the annual report from the preceding year and the annual budget for the upcoming year, respectively. The 2 other town hall meetings are an opportunity for us to address other important topics. Today, we will be addressing a topic that impacts us all: sustainability and our collective responsibility to care for the environment we live in. During our annual community visits by members of senior management, Resident Association leadership also supported the importance of our focus on sustainability, which prompted our selection of this topic for our September Town Hall. As many of you know, ACTS has always been committed to creating a sustainable and thriving environment within our communities, not just for ourselves, but for future generations as well. Today's presentation is a continuation of that commitment, and I'm excited to share with you the strides we've been making in this area, as well as the plans we have for the future. Joining me today are Jonathan Grant, Executive Vice President and Chief Operating Officer, Sean Fletcher, Senior Vice President, Real Estate Services, and Brian Rounsaville, Vice President, Procurement and Contract Management, who will provide insights into the various aspects of our sustainability efforts. Together, they'll be sharing their knowledge on topics ranging from energy efficiency to waste reduction, and even how we can each contribute to sustainability practices in our day-to-day lives. As is our best practice, executive directors and vice presidents of operations will host an in-person question and answer session at your community, providing an opportunity to engage directly with our team and learn more about how we can all contribute to making our communities more sustainable. Once again, thank you for watching and for your ongoing commitment to our shared values. We trust that this presentation will not only inform, but also inspire you, as together we move toward a more environmentally friendly future. And now please welcome Jonathan Grant.
Thank you, Karen, and thank you all for watching this town hall. As one of the leaders of the ACTS Sustainability Task Force, and together with my co-chairs, it is my pleasure to share with you some updates on our exciting initiatives, which aim to promote energy efficiency and environmental stewardship across our organization and our communities. It is my pleasure to welcome Sean Fletcher.
Thank you, Jonathan. Hello, everyone. As you all know, sustainability is not just a buzzword or a trend. It is a vital aspect of our everyday lives, and it affects our health, our economy, and our planet. Sustainability means meeting our present needs without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. It means using our resources wisely, reducing our environmental impact, and enhancing our social and economic well-being. At ACTS, we have always been committed to sustainability in our operations and services. We have implemented various practices and policies to reduce our energy consumption, water usage, waste generation, and greenhouse gas emissions. We have also engaged our residents and communities in various environmental programs and initiatives such as recycling, composting, gardening, and green education. In recognition of our long-standing environmental practices and responsibility, we decided to formally establish the Sustainability Task Force in 2023. The task force is composed of representatives from different departments and regions and is responsible for developing and overseeing the implementation of a comprehensive sustainability strategy for ACTS. The main objectives of the task force are to assess the current state of sustainability at ACTS, to identify gaps and plan opportunities for improvement through the identification and sustainability-related impacts, risks, and opportunities. Establish short-term and long-term measurable goals and targets for sustainability performance and reporting. Develop and implement action plans and best practices to achieve the goals and targets. Monitor and evaluate the progress and impact of the action plans and best practices. Communicate and engage with internal and external stakeholders on sustainability issues and initiatives. Foster a culture of sustainability and innovation within ACTS. By creating the Sustainability Task Force, we hope to achieve the following benefits for our residents, our organization, and our communities. Enhance our reputation and credibility as a leader and partner in sustainability. Improve our operational efficiency and cost effectiveness by reducing our resource consumption and waste generation. Reduce our environmental impact and mitigate the risks of climate change by lowering our greenhouse gas emissions and increasing our use of renewable energy sources. improve our social and economic well-being by creating a healthier, safer, and more inclusive environment for our residents and team members, increase our resident and community satisfaction and loyalty by providing them with more opportunities and resources to participate in sustainability programs and initiatives, inspire and empower our team members and residents to become sustainability champions and advocates in their own spheres of influence. It is now my pleasure to welcome Brian Rounsaville.
Thank you, Sean. The Sustainability Task Force has developed the following 3 overarching goals to help guide our efforts and effectively engage with residents, team members, providers, design partners, and a multitude of our supply and services vendors. The first goal is to identify and prioritize sustainability-related projects that can enhance the quality of life, reduce environmental impact, and save costs for ACT's communities. We plan to conduct a comprehensive impact, risk, and opportunity assessment of the current state of sustainability at each community and identify opportunities for improvement. We will also evaluate the feasibility, cost-effectiveness, and impact of these potential projects to prioritize them based on the needs and preferences of each community. The second goal is to develop sustainability standards and best practices that can be shared across communities. We will create a set of guidelines and recommendations for implementing sustainability initiatives at the community level and provide resources and support for team members and residents who want to get involved. We will also establish a system for monitoring and reporting on the progress and outcomes of sustainability projects and share the lessons learned and best practices with other communities. The third goal is to provide a mechanism for feedback that will also foster engagement. We will solicit feedback from team members and residents on their satisfaction, concerns, and suggestions regarding sustainability at ACTS. We will also create opportunities for dialogue and collaboration among team members, outside partners, and residents from different communities, and encourage them to exchange ideas and experiences on sustainability-related issues. We plan to celebrate and recognize the achievements and contributions of our sustainability champions across the organization. When establishing ACT's 3 main sustainability pillars, we focused on using environmental, social, and governance, or ESG factors, to assess the sustainability of our initiatives and partners. Using the ESG framework, the goal has been to represent environmental concerns, socially responsible practices, and economic cooperation. The first pillar of our sustainability program is environmental responsibility, which means taking care of the natural resources and ecosystems on which we depend. We focus on environmental impacts such as energy consumption and efficiency, which guide our efforts to reduce resource usage. We also focus on recycling to reduce the amount of waste that ends up in landfills or incinerators. Through a circular economy, recycling materials can be reused for new products, including energy, to ultimately conserve natural resources such as water and trees. Recycling also decreases pollution and greenhouse gas emissions that affect our atmosphere. Recycling is not only good for the environment, but it's also beneficial for our economy and society as it creates jobs, supports innovation, and fosters community involvement. The second pillar of our sustainability program is social responsibility, which means respecting the rights of all people and communities, empowering equality, and engaging with the community to promote well-being. One way we do this is by volunteering, which benefits both the volunteer and the recipient. Volunteering can help address environmental injustice and other social issues such as poverty, education, and health, while also improving personal skills, knowledge, and networks. At the same time, volunteering enhances social cohesion, trust, and solidarity while fostering a culture of caring and generosity. The third pillar of sustainability is economic responsibility, which means creating value and prosperity for all stakeholders and ensuring that the benefits and costs of economic activities are fairly distributed. One way to do this is by conservation, which is the wise use and management of our resources. Conservation can help reduce costs and increase efficiency by avoiding waste and optimizing performance. Conservation can also help protect and restore the environment by preventing degradation and enhancing resilience. This pillar increases social and economic development and opportunities. Through several feedback sessions, as well as benchmarking across other successful organizations, we have identified the following keys to launching an effective sustainability program. First, the engagement must be at the community level. Each community should have a sustainability team or champions that are comprised of team members and residents who are responsible for identifying, planning, and implementing sustainability projects. Secondly, we must recognize that there are variations by state and municipalities, and due to both current and emerging regulations, there may be impacts on viability. Some sustainability projects may not be viable or cost-effective in certain states or municipalities due to different regulations, incentives, or market conditions. Therefore, each community should conduct a thorough analysis of the potential benefits and challenges of any proposed project or initiative before proceeding. Third, effective resident engagement is critical. Residents are the primary stakeholders and beneficiaries of sustainability initiatives, and your involvement and input are essential for the success of the program. Therefore, each community should strive to communicate regularly with residents about sustainability goals, plans, and progress, as well as to solicit your feedback and suggestions, and to provide opportunities for you to participate and contribute to our sustainability efforts. The following slides will describe how ACTS aligned its sustainability efforts with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, or SDGs. The SDGs are a set of 17 goals that were adopted by all UN member states in 2015 as part of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. They provide a shared blueprint to address some of the most pressing challenges of our time, such as poverty, inequality, climate change, and environmental degradation. The SDGs recognize that these challenges are interrelated and require integrated solutions that balance the social, economic, and environmental aspects of sustainability. As a leading provider of senior living services, ACTS is committed to enhancing the quality of life of our residents, team members, and communities, while also reducing our overall environmental impact. This is why we have aligned our sustainability initiatives with the SDGs, and we are proud to share some of the achievements and projects that demonstrate our progress. Good health and well-being. This goal aims to ensure healthy lives and promote well-being for people of all ages. ACTS has taken several measures to protect and improve the health of our residents and team members. Quality education. This goal seeks to ensure quality education and lifelong learning opportunities for all. ACT's commitment to this is supported by the many programs sponsored and offered by ACTS Corporate University. In addition to established education agreements with several universities, we also provide on-site training and professional development programs for our team members and educational and recreational activities for our residents. Responsible consumption and production. This goal seeks to ensure sustainable consumption and production patterns. ACTS has adopted several practices to reduce waste and conserve resources, such as purchasing energy-efficient lighting, appliances, and other building systems, controls, recycling paper, plastic, and metal, and composting food scraps. We also support local farms and producers by sourcing a portion of our food through local sourcing programs. Climate action. This goal aims to take urgent action to combat climate change and its impacts. ACTS has been investigating renewable energy sources, such as solar panels and geothermal systems, to reduce our greenhouse gas emissions and lower our utility costs, with the overall goal of reducing our carbon footprint. Life on land. This goal seeks to protect, restore, and promote sustainable use of terrestrial ecosystems, sustainably manage forests, and halt and reverse land degradation to stop biodiversity loss. ACTS has taken steps to enhance the natural beauty and biodiversity of our campuses, such as planting trees, enhancing our landscaping, upgrading retention basins, and maintaining meadows and fields. These are just some of the examples of how ACTS is aligning its sustainability efforts with the SDGs, as we continuously look for new ways to improve and expand our sustainability program.
We would like to showcase some of the past practices and initiatives that ACTS has implemented to improve our environmental performance and align with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. We will focus on three areas: conservation, energy efficiency, and renewable energy. ACTS is committed to sustainability by reducing our energy consumption and increasing our energy efficiency. We have been implementing energy conservation measures for over 20 years, and we continue to look for new opportunities to save energy and lower our carbon footprint. All of our new projects and renovations incorporate energy-saving features in their design and specifications. Some examples include low volume or no water plumbing fixtures, which reduce the amount of water we use and heat. Building automation systems, which monitor and control the temperature, lighting, and ventilation of our buildings. Motion sensor controls, which turn off lights and appliances when they are not needed. In addition, we use products that are composed of recycled materials, which support the circular economy and reduce the demand for natural resources. Similarly, some communities have implemented recycling programs, which divert waste from landfills and conserve natural resources. For example, residents recycle various materials such as plastic, cardboard, paper, glass, prescription bottles, and wine corks. We also educate and encourage our residents and team members to participate in energy conservation efforts. We post notices and reminders about reducing electricity usage, especially during peak hours or extreme weather conditions. We also share best practices and tips on how to save energy and water at the community level. By working together, we can make a difference and create a more sustainable future for ourselves and our planet. Energy efficiency is about using less energy to provide the same level of service and comfort. At ACTS, we have improved our energy efficiency by replacing incandescent bulbs with LED lights, which use up to 80% less energy and last longer, upgrading our heating and cooling systems, ventilation, insulation, and windows, doors, and roofs to optimize our indoor climate and reduce air leakage, installing smart thermostats, sensors, and timers to control and monitor our energy usage. We are just beginning to explore demand response programs, which will allow us to adjust our electricity consumption during peak periods and earn incentives.
Renewable energy is energy that comes from natural sources that are continuously replenished, such as sunlight, wind, and geothermal heat. At ACTS, we have invested in renewable energy by supporting electric vehicle adoption among our residents and our team members. EVs can reduce greenhouse gas emissions, improve air quality, and lower fuel and maintenance costs. Over a decade ago, we introduced the Clipper Creek HCS40 Level 2 charger as an entry-level, cost-effective, non-networked solution that was rolled out to several communities before comprehensive payment and monitoring programs were widely available. The Clipper Creek Level 2 charger has served as the ACTS standard for EV charging stations, providing reliable and convenient charging for our EV drivers. To date, there are 13 Level 2 EV charging stations installed in 10 different ACTS communities, as you can see from the blue circles on the map at right. These stations have delivered over 18,000 kilowatt hours of clean energy, avoiding over 12,000 pounds of carbon dioxide emissions. To better understand our EV charging needs, surveys were conducted at 2 communities. These surveys gathered information on 4 aspects of our EV charging program. 1, resident current EV ownership. 2, resident interest in future EV charging. 3, how EV charging will be funded. And 4, resident travel patterns. The results of these surveys have been very informative and helpful for us to formulate a long-range vision for expanding and implementing a comprehensive plan for EV charging stations across all ACTS communities. ACTS has partnered with EV Connect and developed a comprehensive EV charging program. As part of these efforts, ACTS is expanding the number of EV charging stations across all ACTS communities in 2024 and 2025, which will address communities that do not currently have chargers on their campuses. This initiative will support our residents, families, and team members who own or plan to purchase EVs, as well as to help us reduce our carbon footprint and energy costs. The installation of the new EV chargers will be implemented in phases, with a priority on communities that qualify for energy rebates, tax credits, and available incentives. The PowerCharge E32 Level 2 chargers will be the new ACTS standard, as they are an open-source communication standard for EV charging stations. They have highly rated hardware and also an app, and they can accept various payment options. PowerCharge Level 2 chargers are compatible with all types of EVs. They have excellent ratings and will offer fast and convenient charging options for our residents, families, and team members. As part of this new program, ACTS will be implementing an EV charging policy that will include a pay-for-service program rate based on ACTS' actual energy usage and maintenance costs. The new chargers will be connected to a smart network to allow us to monitor and optimize their performance and usage. Demonstrating our commitment to sustainability, ACTS recently purchased an electric 12-passenger transit van for our Indian River Estates community. The electric passenger van has an estimated range of 126 miles, and a standard Level 2 charger can replenish the battery in only 6 hours. This electric vehicle was funded by residents and is being tested as a prototype for other ACTS communities. Energy rebate programs are initiatives that encourage users to adopt more efficient and sustainable technologies in their homes and businesses. These programs are mandated by federal and state governments and are implemented by utility companies and other organizations. Some examples of these programs are PA Act 129 and the New Jersey Clean Energy Act. The main idea behind energy rebate programs is to reward users for reducing their energy consumption and demand. By installing or replacing more efficient appliances, lighting, heating, cooling, and other systems, users can lower their energy consumption. This not only saves money on energy bills, but also helps to qualify for rebates or incentives from energy rebate programs. Energy consumption is measured in kilowatt hours, which is the amount of electricity used over time. Energy demand is measured in kilowatts, which is the peak amount of electricity used at any given moment. These rebates or incentives are usually based on the amount of kilowatt hours or kilowatts that are reduced after installation. For example, if old incandescent bulbs are replaced with LED bulbs, less electricity is used over time, which reduces the kilowatt hours. This may qualify for a utility rebate, which is a payment from the utility companies based on the kilowatt hour savings. In addition, smart thermostats can adjust temperature settings according to a schedule which will use less electricity at peak times, which reduces the kilowatts. This may qualify for a capacity rebate, which is a payment from a third-party organization based on kilowatt savings.
Another way to save energy is to install solar panels. Solar panels convert sunlight into electricity that you can use in your home or business, reducing your dependence on the grid and lowering your electric bills. You may also be eligible for tax credits, rebates, or incentives from the federal, state, or local government, or from your utility company for installing solar panels. We are currently exploring the potential for the installation of solar panels on carports that are provided at many ACTS communities with advanced green technologies, a leading provider of renewable energy solutions. We are evaluating the following 2 models of solar carports that are designed to withstand high winds and weather loads. Retrofitting existing structures. This model involves adding solar panels to existing carports without changing its structure or appearance. This option is more cost-effective and faster to install, but it may have lower power output and aesthetic appeal. Replacement. This model involves replacing existing carports with new ones that have integrated solar panels. This option is more expensive and takes longer to install, but it may have higher power output and aesthetic appeal and can be better customized to meet our needs. In addition, we are also considering solar panel roof installations for our current construction projects. These installations would supplement the electric grid and provide power for electric vehicle charging stations or other powered items, such as exterior lighting. We estimate that these installations would have a return on investment of more than 10 years based on the current electricity prices and incentives. We will keep you updated on the progress and feasibility of these projects as we continue to evaluate them.
In addition to these initiatives, ACTS is actively reducing our carbon footprint through the following measures: buying local, U.S.-made green products such as furniture, building materials, office supplies, recycled copier paper; reducing the number of campus deliveries via order minimums; increasing the use of regional distribution centers; and contracting with sustainable suppliers who are suppliers that use sustainable materials, limit transportation, do not rely on fossil fuel energy, and limit waste. Promoting biodiversity, such as protecting land, animals, plants, and trees. Implementing comprehensive multi-site energy management systems to better regulate, monitor, and reduce energy consumption. We believe that these actions will not only benefit the environment, but also improve our operational efficiency and customer satisfaction. Let's take a deep dive on one of the carbon reduction initiatives that we implemented last year. To support our sustainability goals, we introduced a minimum order threshold for office supplies in October 2023. This means that team members need to order a minimum dollar value of products to qualify for delivery. This decision was not taken lightly, but it was driven by our commitment to reduce our environmental impact and enhance our service quality. By setting a minimum order threshold with our office supply vendor, we achieved the following benefits. We reduced the number of deliveries to our communities by 20%, which means less traffic, congestion, noise, pollution, and disruption for our residents, team members, visitors, and neighbors. We eliminated the use of unnecessary packaging materials such as boxes, tape, and bubble wrap that would otherwise end up in landfills or recycling facilities. This also lowered our costs and enabled us to invest more in our product quality and innovation. We decreased gasoline consumption and greenhouse gas emissions associated with our truck deliveries, which supports our carbon footprint mitigation strategy and aligns with our corporate social responsibility values. Another way that we introduced sustainability into our everyday operations was by offering reusable food containers during COVID. This program allowed our residents to pick up and enjoy meals in a durable, leak-proof, and microwave-safe plastic container that could be returned after use. We collected, sanitized, and reused them, eliminating the need for single-use packaging. According to the Environmental Protection Agency, containers and packaging account for about 23% of the total municipal solid waste generated in the United States every year, and only 9% of the packaging is recycled. Another option that we are exploring is moving to a recycled, biodegradable, and disposable container. Biodegradable food containers are made of natural or synthetic materials such as paper, cardboard, or cornstarch that can decompose in a short period of time. Each type of container has advantages and disadvantages in terms of their environmental impact, cost, and convenience. Reusable food containers can reduce waste and save resources by avoiding the need for disposable packaging. However, they require more energy and water to produce and clean because they need to be washed, dried, and stored properly to prevent contamination, damage, or odor. Depending on the material, they may also release harmful chemicals or microplastics into the environment when they break down or are recycled. In contrast, biodegradable food containers can reduce waste and save resources by decomposing into harmless substances that can be composted or recycled. However, they require more land and water to grow and process the raw materials. We are still evaluating these options. ACTS is also evaluating the potential use of boxed water versus bottled water to reduce our carbon footprint, which has mixed results. Boxed water is not necessarily a better option than bottled water when it comes to environmental impact. According to some studies, boxed water has a 36% lower carbon footprint, uses 43% less fossil fuel, and has a 95% lower impact on the ozone layer than plastic bottles. But these numbers only account for the production and transportation of the packaging, not the disposal or recycling. Additionally, boxed water may seem to be more eco-friendly because it's made mostly of paper, which is a renewable, biodegradable material. However, the paper used for boxed water is usually coated with wax or plastic to prevent leakage or contamination, which makes it harder to recycle and compost. In fact, many recycling facilities do not accept boxed water boxes because of the mixed materials, and some end up in landfills or incinerators. Furthermore, the shape and size of boxed water can also affect its environmental impact. Compared to plastic bottles, boxed water takes up more space and weight per unit of volume, which means it requires more fuel and generates higher emissions to transport. Boxed water also has a lower stackability factor, which means it cannot be packed as efficiently as plastic bottles, resulting in more wasted space and resources. Boxed water is not a clear-cut solution to the problem of plastic pollution. While it may have some advantages over plastic bottles in terms of production and consumption, it also has some drawbacks in terms of disposal and recycling. Ultimately, neither boxed water nor bottled water can replace the most sustainable option, which is refillable water bottles that can be used over and over again. Accordingly, we have installed bottle filling stations in many locations across the organization to replace traditional water fountains. Water bottle filling stations are also more sanitary than traditional water fountains.
We have recycling programs at most of our communities, but there is not a more robust program than the one at our Azalea Trace campus. Residents are doing their part to reduce waste and protect the environment by recycling cardboard and aluminum cans. Cardboard and aluminum cans are two of the most common materials found in household trash, but they can also be recycled and turned into new products, saving energy, water, and natural resources. Recycling also reduces greenhouse gas emissions and landfill space, which helps combat climate change and preserve the planet for future generations. At Azalea Trace, the residents have set up a system to collect, sort, and process cardboard and aluminum cans from their homes and common areas. They have designated bins for each material where they deposit their empty boxes and cans after rinsing them clean. Every week, a group of volunteers gather the bins and bring them to the recycling center where the real work begins. For cardboard, the residents use a machine to break down the boxes into smaller pieces, then feed them into a compactor that compresses them into tight bales. The bales are then tied with wire and placed on wooden pallets ready for pickup. Once they have accumulated 10 pallets, which usually takes 2 to 3 months, they call the local paper mill, which sends a truck to haul away the cardboard and pays them for their contribution. The rate of return depends on the bulk rate for recycled paper, which can change daily, but it can range from $50 to $100 per ton. For aluminum cans, the residents use a crusher to flatten the cans into thin discs, which are then stored in large bags. When they have enough bags, they load them into a van and drive them to the scrapyard where they weigh them and get paid by the pound. The rate of return also varies, but can be around 50 cents per pound. The scrapyard then melts the cans and turns them into new aluminum products such as cans, foil, or car parts. The residents of Azalea Trace are proud of their recycling program, which not only benefits the environment, but also provides them with a sense of purpose and community. They have recycled over 200 tons of cardboard and 25 tons of aluminum cans since they started their program in 2009, and they plan to keep going strong. They hope their example will inspire others to join them in making recycling a part of their daily lives.
Another recycling initiative that we have adopted at ACTS is collecting used cooking oil from our kitchens. Used cooking oil, if not properly disposed of, can cause serious environmental problems, such as water pollution, sewer blockages, and fire hazards. However, once filtered and cleaned, used cooking oil can be recycled to make other products, such as cosmetics, stock feed, biodiesel, and more. The benefits of recycling used cooking oil are numerous. First, it provides a non-hazardous waste disposal option, which reduces the possibility of clogging our kitchen pipes and keeps us all from dumping oil in the trash. Second, it protects the local sewer lines from grease accumulation, which can lead to costly repairs and fines. Third, it creates renewable energy from a waste product, reducing the dependence on fossil fuels and lowering greenhouse gas emissions. Fourth, it turns an expense into a revenue stream, as we are able to sell the used cooking oil to a local processor who pays us by the gallon. Fifth, it promotes a good reputation for our company and for our communities, as we demonstrate our commitment to environmental sustainability and social responsibility. Used cooking oil is regularly picked up by a licensed collector who transports the oil to a processing facility where it is refined and converted into useful products. Recycling used cooking oil is a win-win situation for everyone involved. We believe that active resident engagement and sharing of best practices are keys to developing a culture that promotes environmental stewardship and social well-being. That's why we are actively formalizing green teams across our communities. These groups of residents and team members volunteer to champion sustainability initiatives and educate their neighbors and other team members on the benefits of going green. The benefits of having a green team in your community include gathering data and feedback from the residents on their current practices, preferences, and challenges related to sustainability, fostering the exchange of ideas and success stories among our residents, team members, and other communities by inspiring them to adopt more eco-friendly habits and behaviors, developing key performance indicators and prioritizing sustainability initiatives based on the needs and goals of the community, such as reducing energy consumption, water usage, waste generation, or our carbon footprint. Creating friendly competition among communities to motivate them to achieve higher levels of sustainability performance and recognition. Together, through our green teams, we can make a difference for ourselves, our communities, and our planet.
Thank you for joining us as we reviewed the actions taken and plans that are underway from a sustainability perspective. As we set our sights on 2025, here are some of our goals and action plans that are now part of our greater sustainability strategy. Establishing a network of sustainability champions who can share best practices, resources, and support from across different communities. Developing a sustainability dashboard that can track and visualize the progress and impact of our actions on various environmental and social indicators. Launching a sustainability challenge that invites communities to propose and implement innovative solutions for local and global issues. Partnering with other organizations and stakeholders who share our vision and values and can offer expertise, funding, or opportunities for collaboration. Celebrating and communicating our achievements and recognizing the efforts and contributions of our communities and individuals who have made a positive difference. It is now my pleasure to hand it back over to Jonathan for some closing remarks.
I want to thank Karen again for opening our town hall, and to Sean and Brian for this informative presentation. Thank you for your attention and your support. We are very excited to continue on this important path of sustainability, and we invite you to join us on this journey and to share your ideas and feedback. As Karen shared at the beginning of this presentation, your executive director will be scheduling a live Q&A as part of her or his monthly resident meeting. We look forward to sharing your feedback with all communities, as there are best practices happening all over ACTS, which can be shared. Together, we can make ACTS a more sustainable and resilient organization and a better place to live, work, and serve our planet. Thank you, and may God bless you.
Can we teams the other gentlemen in now? Sean and Brian?
What's that?
We're good. We got to stay apart.
Oh, we're not allowed to get near each other.
Yeah, we can't get near each other.
We'll have some sound problems.
No dancing.
Good morning, everyone. It's good to be here with you. We're going to try and, oh, they're here. We're going to have,
Sean and Brian, can you hear us?
hi, Brian.
We can't hear you yet. Not yet, Sean. They're working on it. Try it now, Sean and Brian, please.
Can you hear us?
Hello?
Yep.
Can you hear us?
We can hear you.
We've got you, loud and clear.
All right.
Okay. So
All right, questions.
this is the question and answer session, and we're delighted to have Sean and Brian join us and going to help out with any questions you might have. So we'll open the floor.
And Jeremiah and I will walk around with the microphones. Ready? I've got one over here.
It's a very good presentation, but I just wonder why, if all of the sustainability that you're talking about brings us to the elimination of preventive maintenance here about 3 years ago, they no longer check our heating unit or our air conditioning unit or our eave troughs or anything else. As a matter of fact, I think the cottages will probably rot and fall on the ground before they recognize the problem. So, I think the big picture is great, but I think we ought to take care of what we have here on the grounds.
Good comment. Well, we haven't reduced preventive maintenance programs at ACTS. And we have software we use where we load in all the PMs that need to be done, so the team knows when they have to perform these services. So Steve has...
Anything else to add, Stephen?
Preventative maintenance is still carried on as usual, business as usual, with HVAC. Filters are replaced every 3 months.
Yeah.
But all those standard PMs are carried out, yes, sir.
But if someone believes it's not being done, please reach out to me so we can get it taken care of. Reach out to me or Stephen, both of us.
Okay. There's one over here.
As for the initiatives that have been discussed, to me, one of the ones that can be implemented most effectively, as far as residents are concerned, is the recycling. And that was discontinued maybe as many as 3 years ago. And it requires a good effort on the part of residents to participate in it. And of course, the big issue that we ran into was the unwillingness of residents to do the cleaning of the products before they put them in the recycling barrels.
Okay.
So
Well, I
I'd like to see a team created by the LV to address this issue.
Yeah, and I appreciate the comment. In the very beginning, Sean and Brian both talked about the fact that we need resident involvement to make some of these things happen. And Brian also mentioned that all municipalities are different, so we don't do curbside pickup here, so we have to put a little more effort into it, both on the part of the residents and both on the part of our labor team, because we would have to deliver the recycled materials. And there's an education process on what gets recycled and what can go in the bins and what cannot. This is the first year we started this corporate initiative and established the sustainability committee, so we anticipate that as we move forward, ideas like this will get implemented in more and more communities, because we're all over the place as far as which communities are doing recycling and what level of recycling they're doing. So it's an opportunity for us for sure. So thank you.
Well, first of all, this was fabulous, fabulous, fabulous. To follow up on that last one, are we going to have, I guess this is a question for Scott, do we have a green team, or are we going to develop a green team or a sustainability team or committee or whatever?
Great question, and yes, we will be establishing one. Brian or Sean, this question's for you from me. Sustainability team and green team were both mentioned. Is that one and the same?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, we're using them synonymously. It's really what your
Lost the sound again.
local
Hang on a
committee.
second. No sound, Sean, for a second.
Oh, sorry.
Now you're back.
Yeah, we are sort of using those terms synonymously as it relates to the committees, but it's really whatever name your committee wants to apply to themselves. But one thing that I want to stress is that we believe that for this committee to be successful, it needs to be a collaborative effort between residents and team members, really working together. But again, they can include whatever name, but Scott, if you could lead the charge in putting that committee together, that would be wonderful. And then from a corporate sustainability task force standpoint, we'll work closely with that committee and support them whatever way we can.
Perfect.
Yeah, we are going to host a ACTS-wide summit, most likely in the fall, for all the green teams to start to make contacts and exchange information once they're established, and we'll keep that going moving forward.
Okay, so more to
So we would
come.
encourage, if you have names of individuals that are willing to serve on that committee, send them to Scott, and we'll get those together and take it from there.
I'll be putting that committee together, yes. You mean this fall, yes, because it's only 2 days into this fall, yes, Jeremiah.
This fall, yes.
Yes.
After we've finished the town hall circuit, we're going to work to put that together. It will be done virtually through Teams, but the goal is to get all 27 communities represented, getting to know each other, sharing best practices, and we'll look to do that on some sort of repetitive basis going into the future.
Follow up, the same feedback about recycling for the previous question came up. We are working with our haulers in the Northeast and our municipalities to bring a representative out to the community to go over best practices and things like that. So once we have the green team established, we can work locally to bring out the relevant service provider or municipal representative to help educate residents on best practices.
So yes, piggybacking off Brian, I did have a conversation with a local county representative yesterday. And as Steve had said, curbside is only available in our area at this point. For us to make a big dent in recycling, we either have to contract with a third party or do it ourselves. So that'll be something our team, along with the corporate team, has to overcome.
What is the charge for the new charging stations, and how long does it take to charge a vehicle?
The new charging stations will have a credit card capability, and the charge per kilowatt hour will be 25 cents per kilowatt hour, which is below the industry standard. Is more along the lines of closer to 40 cents. So we wanted to our goal is not to, it's not a profit center. We are looking to recover the costs of the offset the cost of the electricity and some of the software and maintenance with it, but we're not, looking at it as a profit center. And the average time it takes depends on the vehicle, but it's 4 to 6 hours, I think, to charge a vehicle using a level 2 charger.
My question involves more the environmental impact as opposed to recycling. About 3 years ago, we had a location up in West where we could deposit used batteries. So most people, if they have only a couple AA's or a 9-volt battery, trying to find a location to get rid of that is difficult. There's some place in the county where you can do that, but how many people are going to run out there for just a couple batteries? I know we had it here, and then that location collection point disappeared. And right now, I don't know of any collection point at this location. So I'm collecting my batteries to, at some point in time, to see if I can find the county disposal unit. But does ACTS have anything in mind for that particular problem?
So, go ahead, Brian, if you want to start.
I was going to say we've tackled it at a local level in some cases, and I know through our office supply vendor, they have offered drop boxes that we can get out there. So I'll have to follow up and see if that program still exists through Staples, for example. And then if we can research at that location where the best drop-in would be, if there's a local one, we can try to work something out too there locally.
And we have, just as a follow-up, we have one community in the Mid-South that does do that. Resident volunteers handle that. And I could check with them to find out what resources they're using to dispose of the batteries. But they do quite a job. They do a very good job of collecting a lot of batteries. So it's worth their while to take them and recycle them. It's a very good suggestion.
Yeah, the story was that the average person has like 4 batteries in a device and only one of the 4 is bad. So they test them and they reuse them locally. There's a resident that's very involved with that Steve mentioned.
Yeah, they do a nice job.
Are these programs cost effective?
Well, that's a good question, and some of them are, and some of them cost us money to do. So with some of the recycling programs we're talking about, that could actually be an investment on our part, but it's being more responsible to the environment. There are quite a few other things we're looking into to see how cost effective they're going to be. The one experiment that Sean, or the research that Sean's talked about the solar panels that we're looking at putting in one of our communities, we'll be measuring that over time to see if there is a cost benefit from it. We won't know until we've done some calculations. It looks like there might be, but we won't know until we actually go through some of these processes. And we've also had requests for tankless water heaters to be installed when we replace water heaters, and that could be a cost savings. But the problem is to do it in the apartment portion of our living accommodations, we'd have to bring in additional power into the community to do it. So there's an infrastructure investment that has to happen for something that's more socially responsible. But we have to work through that as we move forward, looking at these programs. Okay.
I know you talked about all the things that are going to be done, but is your program matured enough that as we develop at our level, we run into questions, want to know answers? Is there a flow up and down, and is that data published to the local level?
So I can start. We talked about that in the presentation. As one of the goals is to collect that data and have that available. And we could share that across the organization so all executive directors have access to who's doing what programs and what's working well and how it is working. So the process of collecting data is one of our goals. It's not, it's the very early stages at this point. So we have information that we know of, and we've collected a lot of information from residents as we've done this presentation that we've learned about things that are happening that we didn't know were happening. So again, that's forthcoming.
Okay,
sure.
apparently I didn't. What I'm looking for is, as this resident team matures and wants to look at what's going on within ACTS, who provides the best practices and how is that communicated to us?
It's through our normal process. Resident association committees have a liaison in management. Scott would assign someone to work with that committee, and all this data that we collect could be shared with the resident committee through that liaison who meets with the committee on a regular basis.
But we're also going to provide opportunities for committees to share information with each other. And we want that information back to know what's happening out there. But if your answer or question is, do we have resources that are assigned to this? The answer is yes. We do have a task force that meets regularly. And if you bring specific opportunities to our attention, we will be able to respond to that. Whether or not we've already seen it in action somewhere else, or if we haven't seen it, we may look to pilot something at your community. But yes, we want this to be an interactive process, but we are prepared to support it and promote it going forward if good ideas come forward. But we would be looking for your committee to do some of that research and legwork as well, to evaluate locally if it makes sense.
Thank you.
While I have the mic, you mentioned, I believe it's Zaire Trace has a program, then I think that would be an opportunity for the team that's formed here to go and visit that community and take advantage of what they've learned in the program.
Absolutely. Yeah. Their program is really well done. Really well done. I think it was mentioned it's about a 20-year-old program. I will tell you it has a significant number of volunteers. So it is completely resident run, but they have a lot of volunteers, but they also are blessed with a lot of space. We have a basement in our mid-rise apartment building there. We have a pretty large area, probably about 1,000 square feet, maybe even larger, that is dedicated to their recycling efforts. But yes, it would be wonderful if you all are interested and want to see what they're doing. We would absolutely try to facilitate that.
I have a question about the water filling station of fresh water. I've been using Brita filters for years, and it's a nuisance to have to keep bringing it up to date. But I do not want to use bottled water for sure. So do we have a time of when it might start here?
We don't have a time frame yet. It's one of our goals to start replacing the water fountains with those devices, which would take a little bit of an investment to do. But it's something that we'll be talking about for sure.
Yeah, we recently did purchase 4 of water filling stations that are going to be put up in places where fountains are currently in the near future.
Yes, I have a question, and it has to do with dust. I have so much dust in my apartment, and I understand that this is true of most of us, at least in East. I've talked with a lot of people. And it's a white dust. So it's coming from, I don't know whether it's the concrete in the building as apartments are refurbished and that kind of thing. But I wonder if duct cleaning would help that. if, you know, I come to my apartment, I'll show you, it worries me in some respects because I know I am breathing this also. And I understand that there was a study done in West at some point, and they looked into the quality of the air, and I think it was determined that it was safe. But I do wonder if there's something, I can dust one day and then the next, the furniture has dust. It's pretty constant. Anyway, anybody answer that?
So there are interventions we can take. We don't, if you have a situation in your apartment that you want to have us look at, we can go put cameras up and scope your ductwork to see what's going on in there. And if we notice anything, then we can arrange for a company to do a duct cleaning work to take care of that. So there are some things we could do if you're experiencing some issues.
Well, I would say just, if you do have that problem, reach out to Stephen or me with an email. Email Stephen or me so we can look into it.
Yeah, okay.
I know that part of what you're trying to do is, of course, as we said, reduce waste, save on electricity. But are there specific goals that you are trying to achieve in each of these areas? Reduction of electricity. What percent should be, that you look at across acts, what is your goal in reduction of electricity usage?
So I just will start that when Sean and Brian talked about in the presentation. It's not a matter of setting goals that we want to reduce by this much. We want to negotiate certain things with certain incentives with our power companies so that if we implement certain things that we'll get discounts or rebates on what we're doing.
Yeah, but Stephen, at the local level, we want to say we've reduced water usage, electricity, whatever. Mm-hmm. And I assume we want to achieve a goal. I mean, I understand go do good, but most people thrive when they understand they have a goal they're trying to achieve. So maybe that's all. And the other part of that is if we're saving money through this, is there a way that corporate can say, hey, y'all did a great job here, and you got this special project, and we're going to reward you with funding that special project off of the savings that we got?
Understood. Understood. Yeah.
It's all ideas that we can discuss at our local level, and then we'll pass it up the chain.
Yeah.
If we come up with something creative, it could be implemented. Who knows?
And I just want to interject that some of these things are easier than others to have specific goals. Our utility bill, for instance, is based largely on peak demand. Our peak demand is less reliant on what all of you are doing in your individual apartments versus what the community as a whole is doing from a common area standpoint. Our kitchen, our laundry areas, our common area air conditioning units are really driving that peak demand, probably more than anything else that's happening on the campus. But again, everything that we do has an impact, and we are looking to try to figure out a way to award, whatever you want to call it, interesting opportunities that do benefit us. But I also want to say that your monthly maintenance fee, if we start to reduce utility bills and all those types of things, it would have an impact on your future monthly maintenance fees, and that we could minimize what those future increases would be. And Brian, I think you have your hand up.
Yeah, I was just going to add to that. We were talking about doing a sort of a friendly competition among the communities to inspire people to do it, but also track it and show which communities are very successful or very active in saving the most electricity or water or whatever we choose to track. I think similar to Olympiacs, it would be, something we could do around sustainability. So to just help communicate the message and, get people involved.
Two more. This is one of two.
I'd like to point out that we were really talking about the environment rather than saving pennies. We're talking about carbon dioxide production, the high level of it, climate change. We're supposed to be doing our best towards reducing what we do to produce bad conditions, like this year has not been a good one. Mm-hmm. Financial achievement is a totally different subject from what we were talking about.
That's a very good comment, and I appreciate that, because some of our efforts, we're not necessarily going to create a return on an investment, but it's going to be more socially responsible. Producing operating efficiencies is a component of it, though, and it always will be a component of the sustainability, but it's not the only, it's not the only measurement we're looking at. Good, very good point.
One more question. Yeah. Okay, this will be it. Thank you.
I just wanted to go back to the cardboard. There was a rumor going around that our cardboard was not really recycled, and there were actually 2 employees that told 2 different residents that it was not recycled. But I have an email from Stephen that says it is recycled. So we're already doing cardboard. We don't need to get into that. That's being done now.
Great job. Yeah, and we're happy to hear you're doing that. And so,
I will add, though, that we're using a third-party contractor, which does end up costing us a bit. So, but we are doing it. You're right.
You're doing your share. Yep. You're doing your share. So.
All right, Steve, you want to close?
I guess we're coming up just past an hour. We appreciate your participation. A lot of good comments and a lot of good conversation that we've taken away from this. So thank you for your time. Thank you for your input. And Scott and I will be around for a little while after the meeting if you have things to talk to us about. Thank you, Sean. And thank you, Brian. Great presentation. And thank you for participating in the discussion today.
Thank you, folks.
Thank you very much.